Welcome to another solo leveling arise video. So with the release of the guild boss and the guild in general in about a couple of hours, at least from the recording of this video, I want to go over on who I think are the best character to use for the guild boss. So we've seen some gameplays from the live streams about how the guild boss works. So we're going to have 9 parties. So with that, I want to separate at least the hunters in 3 roles, as well as the Sung Jin-woo's weapon. So we're going to have the support, the DPS, and the utility role. So the utility, that's something like a break. That's something like a shield or debuff that helps you do stuff. So that's going to be the more complicated role. I'm going to go over that after the support. I'm going to start with the support because it's the smallest list of character. So starting off is with Min Byung-gu. So we're going to ignore his punishment because his punishment is going to be in the utility tier. So what Min Byung-gu does that gives us, for the guild boss content, he gives us some HP recovery. That's very good because it could be a lot of content, we might need that. He also increases our damage and crit hit rate, as well as crit damage too, so that's good. With his, if you have him duped out, he's going to be increasing someone's ult, as well as increasing crit hit rate and crit damage. So his buffs are very generic. And because of that, just as a support, he's going in A tier. Because other characters do more. And his utility, his punishment, that's going to buff him up even more, but we're going to talk about that later. So Maylin. We know Maylin buffs core attack and water damage. Let's see, what else does she do? So she increases attack, defense, crit hit rate, core attack damage, as well as she gives you damage reduction. So great for survivability. She also has a debuff that just gives you a, increase the water damage taken. That's good, but I don't think that's good enough to put in the utility tier, but this is a support tier. So we're going to ignore that. So since she just buffs core attack, as a Sung Jin-woo, you have the Phoenix Soul that cares about the core attack. The Huntsman also does that, but it's not strong enough. It's really good when you have Alicia on your team. But since this is a 9-team fight, can I put that in double S? I don't think I can. I think I'm just gonna have to put her support in S tier. She's perfect for Alicia. But for everyone else that she can buff, I think it's too gimmicky, just because it does the core attack. So Libora as a support, she increases dark damage, and just because with her circle, and since it's just that, but she's in this list because we got a new dark spear that looks to be really good. We're not really sure what the full detail is, so I couldn't really put it in here. But just because she buffs dark damage, she can go to A. It's just dark damage. I wish it was more, but it could be good enough, especially if you're running the dark spear. Emma, I'm also gonna have to put in A. She buffs fire damage, and sadly, fire is not really in a good spot for guild quests, because you have Soo-hyun as your main fire DPS, and you have Phoenix Soul as your main fire weapon for Sung Jin-woo. But I don't think that's enough to justify running her. She breaks, which is nice, but I don't think she can be higher than an A. Go Gun-hee. I'm also going to have to put Go Gun-hee in A because he buffs your crit, I think crit damage, as well as buffs defense. As a support, that's just a good A. And Hansemi is in double S for sure. She buffs wind damage. One of the best DPS weapon is Wind, which is West Wind. One of the best DPS hunter is Wind, which is Amamiya Mirai. She does everything Min Byung-gu does, plus more. So, just because of that, she's gonna be in double S. Plum, also in double S. It's the best support weapon for Sung Jin-woo. It gives you the most damage for your second weapon. And since it's darks, it works really good with Libora, who, spoiler, you're gonna see her a lot in this ranking. So with that, let's move on to the next ranking, which is the utility one. So starting with Min Byung-gu again. he heals, as well as punishment 15%. That's double S for utility. Because increasing the enemy's damage taken by 15%, if you can get that, which I hope you can. Actually, I'm gonna drop him down to S. Just because it's a 5% unless you're disguised. And we can't control that. So if it is 5% and he heals, I don't think I can put that in double S. Yeah, I'm just gonna think of that as 5% because getting the 15% for punishment sounds kind of hard in the content like a guild boss. And we can't really just keep watch Minbi on Goo, so we can't really guarantee that. So I think S is good for him. But Libora is guaranteed 15%, so she's in double S. As well as she just does a lot. So she's a support with dark damage. She's one of the best utility with charm. She's also going to be in a DPS tier. So with that, the next one, Saju and Wu Jinchou, the exact same thing. They gave a shield, they break. From the looks of it, you need to break the dragon. And the fact that they break as well as give you some survivability, I think that's good that they can make this, even though it's only in A tier. Yu Suhyun, also A tier. The reason why she's in A tier is because her utility, her drones makes the enemy take 20% more fire damage. That sounds amazing, because 20% is higher than 15. The only problem is, I don't think you're going to be running fire. She's the best fire DPS. Emma's the best fire support. But there's better options. So I think because there's better options, I can't put her in S. Because if it's in S, it's something you're going to want to run. But I don't think that's it. I don't think that's there. Which is the similar thing for Gogun Hee. So the utility for Gogun Hee, he gives you a shield. He breaks. So he's already better than A. Because he also has a debuff. His weapon makes the enemy take 10% more damage from light sources. And I think light is going to be the best weapon DPS for Sung Jinwoo. As well as maybe you can run Cha, who's also light. But I'm just talking about Sung Jinwoo because we got a new weapon. Not a new weapon, an upgraded weapon. The SR Light Spear is going to get an SSR upgrade during this guild boss. And it looks crazy. It does so much damage. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how much Gogun Hee just makes this guild boss easy. Because he takes care of the break. He gives you a shield for survivability. He buffs your crit damage. Now he increases your light damage. Great. If his number was a little higher, maybe he could have went to double S. But his is 10%. Suhyun is 20%. And Libora is 15%. On Semi, we don't know the number yet. But based on all of the Hunter's weapon, this is going to be between 10% and 16%. Because her weapon is pretty much punishment. It makes the enemy take more damage. So, if that's 10%, great. If that's 16%, amazing. But the reason why she's also up here, because she gives you mana. You can just keep spamming. You're just going to keep getting mana. So she gives mana, she heals, and she inflicts an increased damage debuff to the enemy. I don't think you can get better than that. That's crazy. So, now Sung Jinwoo's utility weapon. The dragon is weak to all 5 elements. Which means Grimoire is going to be amazing in this. Sadly, the dragon can't be frozen, I think. So that extra damage from Grimoire we might not see. But that's still going to be crazy. You just hit them with this. And then the Grimoire debuff just makes everyone do more damage. So insane. The next one is a Moonshadow. Which is... let me try to grab that. There you go. Moonshadow. They buff Moonshadow in this patch. So at A5, when you slow down time, you deal 15% more damage. Before the patch, that's only on Sung Jin-woo. Now, that's on everyone. Anytime you shadow step the dragon, you activate Moon Shadow. So you deal 45% more damage when you have that full stack. If you're running Dark, which is Plum Sword, you do, I think, 30% more damage or 45% more damage, I forget. But also the slowdown effect. The 15% is now also going to work for your allies. So during that every shadow step, everyone just deals so much more damage, which is insane. Now the Huntsman got buffed. So now every time you use your core attack, it inflicts a new debuff, and when that debuff has 3 stacks, it blows up and turns into one destroyer stack. One destroyer stack is, I think, 16% increased damage taken. So if you can stack that up, that could probably be up here. But I'm not sure yet. That's gonna need more testing. So I think I'm just gonna leave it in S because it looks good. So this is the best utility. So let's just go over why I think that's there again. 15% damage from Charm. Possibly the exact same amount from her weapon. Just really good. Break gives you a shield as well as increased light damage. 5% from punishment as well as a heal. 20% from fire, breaks, and shields. So that's the best utility. Now let's go on to the DPS. Look who's back. Libora is back. So for DPS, Alicia, best DPS in the game at the moment, because Hansemi's not out yet, so we can't test out Amamiya with her. Double S. Just does too much damage even if the dragon can't be frozen. We've been already using Alicia for so long, so we know what she does. Next, Amamiya Mirai. Just insane damage, and she just gotta use support. So, double S is good for her. Yusu Hyun. S. Best fire damage as well as... do I want her in S? As a DPS by herself, she's type advantage with everything, but so is everyone, so that can't be. I think I have to drop her to A. Sadly, because she doesn't have any supports. While these two have really good supports to pair up with them, she has Emma, and Emma's not good enough, sadly. Probably for this fight. Chahain, I just gotta go with S because the light team with Gogun Hee and Min Byung-woo might be really strong. So you kind of want to pair that up with a light DPS hunter if you're not doing light yourself. And yeah, but I think you probably not even make the team. So do I want to drop her to A? I think I do. I think I'm gonna drop her to A just because I don't think you're gonna use her. Even if her damage is stronger than who's going to S, just Libora. So we already talked about how good Libora is as a support. More dark damage. She's dark. So more damage for her. Her utility, Charm, 15%. And what does she do? She puts her puppet down, and now she has passive damage that happens every single second. And there's 3 of them. If you have her duped up, if you have her A5, Meg is going to do more damage with the little Megs. She just does so much for the guild boss that she shows up in all 3. And then Sajiru, I think I'm going to have to put you in A, because I don't think you're just going to be doing enough. And with the weapons going to be interesting. Let's start with the new light SSR spear. If you've used the spear before, this does a lot of damage. And it just got upgraded to an SSR. I think this is going to be the best light weapon that we have. I wish I have the stats or what the dark one do, the dark spear that's coming out. It's probably going to be an SS. But since I don't have it, sadly I can't rank it. Westwind, probably S. Because I don't think I can put Westwind in the same power as the light. Since there's no light that... I guess we can put it in here. Let's put that in double S for now. Because Amamiya Mirai buffs wind damage. Not Amamiya, Hansemi buffs wind damage. So I think that's good. And then the other one... So this one got buff as well. I think this is gonna be an S, because the fire one might be the same power as that, and that's not it. There you go. And Scotty sucks. So yeah. So now let's go over what I think the best hunters are, starting from the bottom. So I have 9 hunters here, which I think are the best hunters to use. I could be wrong when guild comes out, but this is my initial impression on who I think is good. So starting off, Wu Jinshou. I think Wu Jinshou is going to be an amazing thing for this guild boss because you need a break. And he gives a shield. Plus, he's a win, so he's buffing one of the best DPS in the game. I think it's fair to put him up here. Next one, Tajiru. Water team is one of the best team, and she's water, and she breaks, and she gives a shield. The exact same reason as Wu Jinshou, except she does more damage. Pretty fair. Now for the weapon, Huntsman. Because I want to see how much that destroyer stack actually gives us. If we can stack that destroyer fairly fast, and we can make a debuffer Sung Jin Woo build, we'll just run something like Reawakening. Let's do Concentration of Firepower. And if you want to have fun, you can put cooldown reduction on your points, so you can get that judgment time as quick as possible. That might be an interesting build that I'm ready to test. I don't think any other weapon that I'm not ranking is better than the possibility of Huntsman. So it's going to be interesting. So let's move on to the next tier. Gogan Hee. Breaks, gives you a shield, debuffs, as well as buffs. 4 really good things that you might need in this fight. People have been saying that he might be bad, but I don't think so. He looks good for this fight. He does everything that you want him to do except do damage. Unless his numbers are high. We don't know his numbers. He might be a really strong DPS. My greed set for Wu Jinshou has 22k defense. I'm putting that on him. Let's see how well that does. So he could be really strong. He might go up to double S if we see his numbers are really good. But right now, let's put him on top of S. Next, Maylin Fisher. He's a buffer. Buffer for one of the best DPS in the game. That's pretty much it. She's just good. Plus, she buffs just core attack. If you want to use Phoenix Soul, it works well with Judgment Time for the Huntsman. You're strong. So now weapon. We have Westwind. We have Westwind down here in S. Because I think it might be the best, second best DPS weapon that we have. It could be the best depending on how much Hansemi really buffs, because we don't know the numbers for her yet. We just know which one she buffs. And that's it. Westwind has always been really strong, and it could still be really strong here. So, double S tier. Let's talk about the weapons first. Plum Sword. You can never go wrong with Plum Sword. It buffs your damage by a lot. So if you're not running Sung Jin Woo as a DPS, and if you're running him as a, let's say, debuffer, don't run this, but run these two. These two are your best debuffer for Sung Jin Woo, and I think it just fits in double S if you want to build him that way. Now the other weapon that I showed, the new Dragon Spear. I think Light is going to be your best DPS since Light has a really good break skills for Sung Jin Woo. So the Earth Shock one for Death's Dance give you crit damage, and then you get increased damage if you have Gogan Hee, which you will because he's free. So just really strong. I don't know how hard it is to get that thing to SSR, but if it's easy, amazing. Next, Alicia. Alicia is going to be the bottom of my double S because she's a DPS. And I think there's more things important than DPS. So both DPS are in the bottom of my list, which is fun. Because you will need a DPS. So it don't really matter if they're in the bottom or in the top. These two are the best DPS that we have. And that's that. We're going to need it. Next one, Min Byung-gu. Punishment, 5%. Increases all your crit for everyone. Very good. So just great support. Next one, Maylin Fisher. Not Maylin Fisher, Hansemi, sorry. Hansemi is a better Min Byung-gu. Simple as that. With a probably guaranteed debuff. And then the best character, in my opinion, for the guild boss is Lee Bora. He does everything. You need increased dark damage for your spear? Her. You need increased damage taken from the boss in charm? Her. You need DPS? She's there. So yeah, I think she's the best DPS, not the best, I think she's the best hunter for guild boss. And with that, my name is Yuya. Please leave a like and subscribe. See you in the next video.